made the adjustments to the video camera as opposed to the agenda being up there, that the video camera will be displaying on the individual speaking and within the perimeter of this room. So you will be on video at all times, just FYI.
Good morning, everyone. I would like to call the Will County Public Works and Transportation Committee regular meeting to order at 9 a.m. on July 2nd. Pledge of Allegiance. Marcy, hi there. Good morning. Would you lead us in the pledge? Thank you.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Marcy. And good morning, Sandy. Can we have a roll call? Sorry? Oh, okay.
Richmond.
Here.
Balich.
Here.
Butler. Costa. Logan. Williams.
Here.
Van Dyne.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Looking for a motion to approve the minutes of June 4th, 2024. Thank you. Discussion, questions on the minutes? No one from the committee? Okay, roll call, please.
Richmond.
Yes.
Balich.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Van Dyne.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right. There's no old business listed on our agenda. Does anyone want to bring up any old business?
Yes, I got some.
Yeah, Steve, good morning. Go ahead. Got it.
We've had like 4 or 5 votes at the full board about stopping the asking to sell property on 143rd Street. And it continues. And that's because the county executive keeps vetoing it. But I want to find out from Jeff, why is it that we have to continue to try and buy property, which the people are telling me that the county's actually trying to like steal it. I'm not going to say that word like it's an actual steal, but one lady told me that they were offered $52,000 for their entire farm. They paid off their mortgage. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but I don't see a reason why they would lie. And other people are telling me that they're getting offers, but they're nowhere near what the property's worth. And I don't understand why you have to be offering anything at all until this is settled, because our attorneys say that there's a real high probability that we're going to win the lawsuit. And I understand that the other side, the county attorneys, say they have high probability of winning. But in the interim, why are we disturbing all these people when nobody really knows what's going to happen?
All right. In response, I guess a couple things. The project, we do have the federal dollars for this project slated for 2026 to start. So assuming if the project were to proceed as originally planned, we need to be buying right away and have that in place in time to spend that federal dollars. Otherwise, you risk losing the federal dollars. So there's need to continue with the negotiations to continue to hit that target, because at the moment, there's still no standing vote to say that project isn't proceeding as planned. 2, no matter what project we end up with, even if we consider going to a 3, should this court case go the other way, we do need right away. Maybe on some parcels, not exactly the full amount, but most of the parcels we still need right of way for. So we're not losing completely if we go to something smaller. As far as land values and property owners, their perception of what their properties are worth. Everyone, of course, perceives their property to be a certain amount. Everyone's emotionally attached to their property, and that's fair. But the process in buying right away is we get an appraisal for the fair market value of the property. An appraiser goes out there, offers to meet with them and get a fair market value. There's a review appraisal made, so a second opinion on the value of the property that we are offering. And then based on that, it's given to IDOT and they bless it. And then we go to the negotiator and gives them that fair market value. So whether it pays off someone's mortgage or not, we have no idea. That is no factor in how an appraisal is made. So all I can say is we're offering fair market value and the negotiators are offering that, and that's how we proceed.
And one other question, Joe.
Yes, sir.
I turned it off so you can talk.
Oh. Oh, I just need to scroll down. Okay.
We don't have to do that anymore. You can have every mic on.
I would prefer it. I did that last time. Is there an option? Okay, I can, yeah, I'll manage this way. It's fine. Go ahead, Steve. Yeah.
The next question is the project that isn't our project. So I asked that question before, whether a bridge over the Des Plaines River connecting 143rd Street from Route 59 was going to happen. You said no, because it wasn't our project. It was IDOT or the state. Well, they just had a groundbreaking to start the project. So how does that affect the 143rd Street project that we're on? Because if we win in court, that project will not be exactly what they wanted. Because they were trying to do that thing that goes all the way to Cicero.
There is no project in between the Plainfield project and the county's project. The Des Plaines River Bridge is not being built. The bridge that's in the Plainfield section is over the DuPage River. They're two completely separate bridges, 7 miles apart. So there's about a 7-mile gap between what Plainfield is doing and what we're doing up to the tollway, and 171 is already done. So there's no plans that the county is aware of for any gap improvement between those two bridges.
There's an article I read in the newspaper, which doesn't mean it's correct because media oftentimes is wrong, says they want to connect that project to the 143rd Street project that we're doing.
Well, the media can say whatever they want, but I'd like to see their sponsor agency who says that they're doing that, because I'm not aware of any municipality or IDOT who has any plans to make that connection.
Okay. I didn't know. That's why I'm asking, because
Yep.
I don't believe everything I read.
I mean, I've seen some drawings in social media that were actually forwarded through email of someone drawing a line across there, which you can do on any GIS program. But until you see a sponsoring agency like a municipality or IDOT moving a project forward, it ain't happening.
Okay. Thank you.
Jackie?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. My question is, I guess, more of a request, but there's these allegations being thrown around loosely that people aren't getting their fair market value for their home or their property, I should say, for the right-of-way property. Is there ever any report drawn up comparing what the property is assessed at as far as market value and what we actually end up, negotiating for? Because I would suspect, without knowing, that these folks are not paying near the property tax on their full market value of the home. They're paying their property tax based on the assessor's considered market value. And given current climate, those dollars, there's quite a bit of difference between what you're assessed at by the county assessor or your township assessor and what you could actually sell it for on the open market.
Jeff, would you have any knowledge?
I'm not aware of any such report that compares such things.
I'm just wondering if.
But our final amount that we actually give the person is it's not just the property value. There's a lot of cost to cure stuff, fences, septics, all kinds of different things like that. So that would inflate the price. So you can't really make a true comparison. But no, there's no report that necessarily
I just
Goes
wonder,
back
if-
and compares that.
I would assume that that's looked at, right? In coming up with what the fair, he's nodding his head.
Well, the fair market value is established by taking comparable sales around the area.
That's what the
how
assessor's
they're
office
established.
does.
So where they get that information, that's up for the appraisers to figure out. We don't get into that too much.
No comparison at all to what the property is assessed at.
Just to speak through here.
The,
Eric, our phase 2 project manager who does.
Eric?
yeah, I'm sorry, Eric Wassel. The appraisal report that our appraisers do look at the assessor's valuation as part of their overall valuation of the property. So they do look at it and use that as a reference in gathering their data to make their judgment of what the land is worth.
And I'm not going to suggest that every township is like my township, but I'm currently being assessed at a property value of $290,000 for my home. Homes are selling all over my neighborhood for north of 450,000. So, people may have an idea about what their house is worth, but if they're not paying taxes on that, then I don't know what they have to complain about, That's kind of my thought process on the whole thing. I mean, everybody always thinks their property is worth more than it is. But what are you paying taxes on?
Okay. Good discussion. Think we're ready to move on? Okay. Moving on from old business. We'll jump into new business. Number 1, authorizing the county executive to execute a mutual aid agreement with the Illinois Public Works Mutual Aid Network. And I would just like to invite Mr. Ronaldson to just briefly describe a little bit about this, if you would, sir.
Sure. And good morning, Chair and committee
morning.
members. I didn't get to say that earlier. Our loan agreement for today is just a mutual aid agreement. This is a agreement with about 468 members from I saw on their website throughout the state of Illinois, municipalities, townships, counties, to share in each other's resources if a calamity befalls some entity, storm or some event, so that then the public works folks, mainly the road folks, that's what this agreement speaks to, can come out and help clear roadways and that type of thing. Not for on-site property for building demo or anything, but just to help out with road closures and clearing of debris on the roadway, that type of thing. So if anything ever happens where we need help, because our manpower is only so much, we can reach out to here and they'll reach out to neighboring areas and see if we can get additional help. So, and we do the same in return. Not that we wouldn't do that anyways, but this formalizes more things and provides also more documentation for maybe getting reimbursed from FEMA no, it's not FEMA, whatever the state does for emergency responses. So that type of thing. So that's why we're proposing to join in. It's a nominal fee. So when we would cover that.
Great. And I apologize. I probably should have looked for a motion to put it on the floor. So I will do that now. I have a motion and a second. Any added discussion, questions? Good morning, Dan.
Good morning. So I was wondering on this, when we lend our workers to neighboring towns or counties that need this extra labor, is that, so are you saying that the cost for that labor is refunded? Or are we just donating that to help out? And if that is the case, do we allow for time and a half or time where, if it's an emergency situation, if they work nights, they're getting paid time and a half? Is there a limit? And, because if it's just, if we have extra workers and they're sitting in the workroom, I'm all for letting them go to work. But I just want to know if, what the cost, if that's all been figured out and if there's any caps on
Yeah,
the spending.
within the agreement, this spells out a lot of those scenarios. I mean, like you mentioned, if there's during our normal working hours, we volunteer our own time. They're there anyways, right? They're in public service. But if they are overtime hours and things like that, there are means in there to request, should we request reimbursement. And if it's declared a federal disaster or state disaster, there's a whole nother process to get even the regular hours reimbursed. So yeah, there's parameters inside and outside this agreement for that type of thing.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments, questions on this item? Jackie?
How often do we do this? How long has this kind of been in place? I know it gets renegotiated every so often, but
I don't know how long IPW man has been in place. It's been many number of years. We have only been called not too often, actually. Something comes through Joliet, a big storm where trees are down. We've been asked to do that a couple years ago. It doesn't happen too often. But we're available. Public servants will go out and do what we need to do, but it doesn't happen.
no,
too often.
I would imagine like tornadoes.
Yeah, well, in Kankakee, their garage burnt down a couple years ago, so people lent them trucks and whatnot, and we didn't participate in this program at the time, but we still certainly helped out.
Sure.
So we don't need this
Be a good-
necessarily, but it helps so let everyone knows where all the resources are at.
Yeah, thank you.
Great. We do have a motion, a second. I was looking for maybe a previous role. New member? Dan? Okay. All right. We do have a first and second roll call, please.
Richmond,
Yes.
Bowich,
Yes.
Buckler,
Yes.
Williams. Van Dyne.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right. I'm just thinking here, if you do turn on your microphone, I'll turn it on, just leave it on. And then we can all just jump in. So next time you need to speak, I'll just keep it on. No other new business. So moving on to Director of Transportation discussion, there's 2 items. Mr. Ronaldson again.
All right, I have 2 items and then there's 2 just quick announcements after that. Attached to your agenda is IDOT's multi-year plan that came out very recently. Within that memo, there's a memo in there as well. That gives you a website to all their information, but I did attach a couple attachments on there. One being our 7-page condensed version. It's that orange chart. What it does, it takes the 39-page IDOT list. That's for District 1. They have a list of just IDOT District 1, which is collar counties, and breaks it down just to Will County. So there's 2 different forms in there. They're all listed ordered by alphabetical of the roadway names. So you can go in there if you want to see if there's a road they're working on. You just scan through there and find Weber, I-55, I-80, that kind of thing. And it shows for the IDOT if they're going to spend any money in 2025. It breaks down not a dollar amount. Then the next column over is for the rest of the plan. They don't really do it like we do, project a particular year. They say it's either next year or it's happening later. So within that plan, they do give a fact sheet as well, just a 2-pager of what the big dollar amounts are. For Will County, that condensed version I gave you, we summed it up. They're going to spend $1.5 billion in Will County over the next multi-year plan, the next 5 years. So that's a significant amount. 257 million of that will be spent in 2025. Again, you can look at that chart to see where those dollars are at. And then at the end of the memo, I did provide a couple of websites that IDOT has put out there to focus on the bigger projects. There's projects on I-80. Of course, you can go on there and see where the schedule is at for I-80. 55 and 59, there's a website that corresponds to that for that construction. The design of I-55 with the new interchanges at Airport and 126, there's a website for that. Lorenzo interchange at 55, there's a website for that. And then also Illinois Route 53, they have a corridor study along there. There's a website there. Go ahead and look at that if you have information about that. So really, that's just kind of sums up what their multi-year plan is. There's a few projects in there that do impact our projects. So of course, we continue discussions on schedules, those particular projects. So any particular questions I can try and answer for IDOT's program?
Yeah, before you move on, I think Jackie may had a question.
I'm curious because I saw the dollar amounts in here for 126 and 55.
Okay.
Are they finally going to start that interchange or is this just normal resurfacing kind of work?
It is for the interchange design. Yes.
It is.
Yes, it
Okay.
is.
So they haven't decided yet if it's going to be a diamond, if it's going to be a clover leaf.
They're not to that level. They're continuing the
This is
engineering.
what they're doing.
Yep.
Okay. I was wondering why it was taking so long or if it had just fallen off. the radar because of the stuff at Rock Run.
Mm.
You know, because that seems to be getting all the hype right now and all the attention and the money.
No,
Um,
there's plans that there's shows that they're committing dollars to engineering and then construction later in the program. Yep.
so maybe they'll get started in 10 or 15 years.
No comment.
All right, where did you say, I was looking for these links because
Yeah.
I missed them.
The links are on the memo I gave you in the first.
Oh, the first one. Oh,
First one.
I was looking all over the second and the third. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you. I have looked at their website before and been more than just a little confused. Because a lot of their stuff isn't too accurate, like the Bolingbrook project at 53 was supposed to be finished last November. It's still kind of a disaster area. And it's weird. It's like they painted part of under the bridge, but not the other part. They've started to put some of the landscaping back, but it still looks like a disaster, let me just say.
Yeah.
And it was supposed to be finished last November. And their website, last time I looked, still reflected that, and that was like in April.
Yeah. I can't tell you how recently they are often they updated. I can just give you the links.
No, thank you for the links.
I
Much
did look
appreciated.
at in this chart on page 2 of 7 in the condensed version. It says I-55 at Airport and Lockport. They got construction, interchange construction at 85 million. So within the 26 to 2030 timeframe, they're targeting that construction with land acquisition starting next year in 2025. So you can see that they are moving it forward.
Yeah, no, I noticed that on your sheet and I was like, that's the first time I've seen anything about that interchange in a long time. And it's sorely needed if for no other reason to lessen the traffic in the Bolingbrook area on our roads. But one of the things that they didn't, and I don't know who addresses this, because it is 126, so that's a state route. When you get off that interchange, who's fixing that 2-lane road so that the amount of cars that come off the freeway have a place to go?
Well, it's an Illinois state route, so hopefully it's in their plan to do something further.
Because as you go down and you hit the tracks there, just before you hit 59, there's not like a lot of room on, at least on the one side, because that's where Harbor Construction is. So I just wonder if they could get enough easement to make it a 4-lane road.
It's good questions.
Steve, IDOT projects?
Yeah, we talked about county projects before when Jim Richmond drew up like a nice spreadsheet that we could put on our website, but we still haven't figured out a way to notify all the people about IDOT projects, state projects. Like I just read an article and I earlier already brought it up, and it says that the opposite of what you said. And I'm not saying you're wrong or right or nothing. I'm just saying it's the opposite what the article says. So people are getting the wrong information. So we still have to figure out a way to make sure all the people that live in those areas are notified of what's going on. We don't want to have another incident like with 143rd Street ever again. And unless we come up with a plan, I'm always going to vote no on all this stuff until we come up with a plan. Because to me, we're just asking for a problem down the road. Granted, 90% of the time, there is no problem. But there always have that little 10%. And now you're not responsible for notifications for IDOT or the state. But at the same time, what Jackie brought up about roads, if they put in an expressway, they're gonna get off of, say, I make up a number, 355th Street. They get off, it's 2 lanes. Now all of a sudden they gotta make it 4 lanes. So, I mean, everyone needs to know exactly what's going on with this stuff. So I don't know the answer yet because we haven't discussed it in committee yet, but we do need to get it so everyone's notified of all the different projects that are coming on and how we're affected by it. Because the county's not affected by what IDOT does per se, but it is with the consequence of the road. So people should have the knowledge. And that's all I got to say.
Jeff, would you like to continue?
Moving on to number 2, we do have a public meeting for the Mills Cherry Hill Road corridor coming up. There's a little flyer attached to your agenda. It is July 30th, 4 to 7 at Newell Park. This is the second one. The first one was just introducing the project. This one will present the alternatives that the consultants come up for that roadway corridor. So anyone in that area can come and see what alternatives are there before we move forward with the design and make comments on that. All the property owners will be notified. PACE has a flyer going out. There's letters to the electeds. There's a geofencing program that's used. So if you drive through there, somehow it captures you and gives you a little social media tickle that there's something coming up. So any social media that the county board members in the area might have that they want to push out this notice to would be greatly appreciated. I know the county executive will probably put something on there as the county board. If they have a means, they might put that up there too. Then, of course, an email will go out to all those who have registered previously and throughout the website. So that's how that public notice is going out. So again, July 30th, if anyone wants to attend and see what that roadway is proposing to look like, I invite you to come out.
And Steve, you just asked 30 seconds ago, and here you go. Here's your public notice. See how responsive our department is?
But, yeah, but I know what those are like sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, it's like some of them are a dog and pony show.
All right. Sorry to interrupt.
Sure. And then just 2 other quick things. The 2050 plan that we have going on, just for the committees aware, the existing conditions report will come out late July, so that will be posted to our website. And then later in the year, which we'll come back and have more data for you, but as just to capture what the existing conditions of the roadways are in Will County, where the accidents are at, traffic volumes, truck volumes, that kind of thing. There's a lot more data in this document, but look forward for that on the website. And if you have any questions once you see it, by all means, give us a call or email. And then lastly, the Safe Streets for All. CMAP has been working on that for us in the other counties for a little while now. The consultant will be prepared to give a briefing in August. It will either be at this committee or the county board will ask the county board staff and the county board chair where we want that to land. I don't know if it'll be at this committee. Right now I'm proposing it to be at this committee, but if the chair or anyone else wants it at a bigger audience, we can certainly do that. So we'll reach out to staff in the next week or 2 to kind of find out where you want that to land for next month. So they'll give a briefing as to where that program is at. That's all I have.
Comment, Dan?
Yeah, just a
Question?
quick question. When you start talking about the conditions of the roads and stuff, just curious, I understand that certain regions of the country have a lot more trouble with the roads because of frost and stuff like that. But do we actually pay for the best roads, or do we kind of go with a medium, figuring we're always going to have to repair them? Like, is there something we can do to make roads last longer?
There are, they call them pavement preservation measures that you can do to a roadway to try and make them last longer, such as crack sealing, patching, of course. Even a complete resurface, taking off the surface and putting it back is a pavement preservation measure because it preserves the bottom layers.
And that's what we do now.
That's what we do now.
So we do
all those.
everything we can to limit having to redo roads.
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, our overlays last a good long time.
I just wondered if it was ever like, hey, it's just so costly, this is the better way to do it, or if there was a better way, just to reduce the amount of construction. I'd rather pay more money to have longer stretches in between road repairs. That's what I was getting at.
Let's understand, a lot of agencies have struggled. We do have resources. Other agencies have a lot more limited resources than we do, so they can't even get some of those pavement preservation measures in place. So fortunately, we're fortunate to be able to have the resources to keep up with that.
I would like to add just one more thing is like, you definitely know when you leave Will County and you go into Cook County. There's a noticeable difference on the roads. The roads are much bumpier, more potholes and stuff like that. I noticed that right away when I first got on the board and started thinking about this stuff. So I do realize we do a pretty good job.
Thank you.
Okay, Jackie?
Just one question about the Mill Cherry Hill Road study. Mills Road, that's north of Laraway?
It is, yes.
Okay, I was just looking at the map, trying to figure out where Laraway is, and I don't see it, so I kind of figured it must be
It's pretty
further
much,
down.
that's a mile north.
Okay, yeah, because I've taken that Cherry Hill a few times. But yeah, just this map isn't like big enough for me to really see. Okay, thank you.
All right, committee, are we finished with Mr. Ronaldson on his discussion items?
Yes.
Okay, great. Good morning, Mary Tatro. Do we have any state's attorney's discussion? All right, thank you. Once again, as always, there are 3 monthly work reports provided to the committee. Jeff, do you have something to add?
Yes, I was asked by staff through County Board Chair Ogala would like us to highlight one of these reports each month, just to give the committee a fuller understanding as what the reports are. So we're going to start with the construction status report. So this month, I'm going to have Assistant County Engineer Brian Gieske come up and just kind of run through that with you as to what it is. Make sure it gets you what you might need. So you have a fuller understanding of it, but he is our construction manager, overall construction. That's why I'm going to have him kind of run through this report. So,
Okay,
Mr.
great.
Gieske?
Morning, everybody.
Good
My
morning.
name is- Hi, my name is Brian Gieske. I'm the Assistant County Engineer at the Will County DOT. Like Jeff said, I oversee construction projects on the county highway system. Every month I do write this report for the agenda packet. I use resident engineers that are the ones on the actual projects day in and day out. Some of those engineers are county staff. Some are consultant project managers that we are under contract with. For the larger projects, we usually use consultants. The report is generated every month, and I want to stress, though, this is a report that's only on county highway projects. So this is not intended to be all-inclusive for everything that's happening in Will County. It's not part of anything going on through the state, anything with IDOT or cities or villages. So this month, there are 8 projects I reported on. I usually bring them to the list once a project is let and we know who the contractor is. And then I'll take it off the list when the project's done. And I usually summarize that with something like, this is the last report for this project. And then the next month it's gone. So with these 8 projects, I put the largest one first. So the one that I feel is the most impacted, the county highway system, or the biggest one we have, is this 80th Avenue Improvement Project from 191st to 183rd. This is up in Tinley Park. It's a collaboration between Tinley Park, Mokina, Cook County, and IDOT. It's a brand new overpass over the Interstate 80. It also includes a new bridge over the Union Ditch out there. It's a multi-lane improvement. There'll also be several turn lanes added at both those intersections. It's a very active project. It's still within the current, it's delayed by a year from utility relocations from last year. But the contractor has been out there a lot, hitting it hard, and they do intend to get it substantially complete before Thanksgiving. Next one is the Laraway Road between Jackson Branch Creek to Cedar Road. This is another widening and improvement for about a mile of highway. This does have noise wall installation out there that's already been placed by the subcontractor. And then after the holiday here, the prime contractor is going to get underway with actual highway work. And once again, hopefully get it substantially complete yet this fall. And then final stuff would be early next year, such as highway surfacing. The next one is Bell Road, 159th Street to 151st Street. Utility relocations also delayed this one substantially. So it was sitting idle for several months. But once again, the contractor is going to mobilize and get going again after the holiday because that utility relocation is finally going to be cleared by then. The one at the bottom of the first page is the Bell Road at 143rd intersection. This one was just recently let by IDOT. So yes, this is a federally funded project led at IDOT. The pre-construction meeting is coming up actually next week. When I wrote this report, I didn't know that yet, but the pre-con will be next week. And the completion date, though, is going to be out in 2027. So it will be a multi-year project there as well. That's just the intersection, approximately quarter mile each way from the intersection. Then we get into Francis Road at Cedar. This one with PT Faro is just starting here recently. It's going to be another intersection improvement, not adding necessarily any more through lanes, but do we have turn lanes going in, drainage improvements? And that's a partnership with the Village of New Lenox. Then we have Weber Road at Knapp Street. This is the one we're adding a left turn lane for the southbound Weber Road and turn lanes for Knapp in both ways. This is not a signal installation, though. This is only turn lanes at Weber and Knapp. Then the last two here are resurfacing projects. The first one is Western Avenue. It's actually just wrapping up now. This last week, they've installed the final things needed with landscape and highway reflectors. And then Weber Road again, the north end of it from Lily Cache up to Clar, or Lily Cache down to Clar. That should be starting soon. Curb replacements where they failed near catch basins, and then milling and resurfacing it's about 1.5 miles. I want to remind folks that on our website, we do have an interactive map, and this is a place where we have this same information, and you can kind of hover over the map and information will pop up. We work with our GIS department to provide that for everybody, and get another report next month. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. It
Okay.
seems like you know, month in and month out, you spend a lot of time providing this report, and it's nice that you came in today and, you know, went through some details for us
Sure.
at committee. So thank you for that. Jackie?
Welcome.
Just a question about Weber, over there by Lily Cache. I was on the north side of Boughton yesterday, and I did notice some patchwork, but I have a funny feeling that part of Weber is now Naperville. Because I think I was north of the bridge that goes over the river. I know I have this map on my wall in my office, but I can't remember. Where does our part of Weber end?
Right at Lily Cache at the intersection.
That's what I was thinking. We didn't plow any further than there. Okay, all right, that answers that. And I'm hoping they're not gonna start ripping up any of the road till after this weekend. That tends to be a pretty busy area, 4th of July, because of the Raj Mahal party.
Whatever that is, but
I call it 115th Street, by the way. I
okay.
have not gone over to the dark side.
Okay, so our contractors always have advanced warning signs that go in place for a road that's not going to be closed, one that's going to just have work on it. There's always a 7-day advance notice. Do you see any signs out there yet that say work is starting?
Look on my way home.
Okay, so for example, if something's going to start on July 8th, it would require July 1st would be the day that the contractor is supposed to have notices out there of some kind, usually the flashing signs. Sometimes it's black lettering on orange signs, but something that says this road will be under construction starting on XXX. So 7 days at least.
The golf club out there, they have the big 4th of July party, and let's just say there's a lot of traffic when that happens. And yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you. Is there questions on the maintenance or the second phase summary report this month? Seeing none, okay. Any reports by any committee members? No reports, okay. Is there anyone from the public wishing to speak this morning? Seeing none? Any emails sent in to the committee? No? Okay. There are no announcements or reports by chair. No need for executive session. And looks like our next meeting date is scheduled for August 6th, 2024. Before we adjourn, I just want to wish everybody a happy 4th and stay safe and please enjoy yourself. Maybe possibly you get a long weekend. I know I don't, but so be it. And we'll see everybody next month. Motion to adjourn.
Motion, Bowledge.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries and we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody. Great job, and we'll see you next month.